Insights with Terri Ep.96, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep.96. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep.96. Thank you for joining me. The most precious gift is time, which can't be reclaimed, so I appreciate you sharing yours with me today. We are going to be working with the week of November the 6th through the 16th, 2022. We're having that blood moon. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago and a little bit last week. We're going to cover it this week. It's a very powerful cosmic event, and I don't want any of us to miss it or be affected in a way that wouldn't be in our best interest. So we're going to discuss that a little bit. We have a lot of things going on. I will try to make it as quick and concise as I possibly can. We are still in Scorpio. Scorpio is in Mercury as well as the sun sign. Mercury being our thought processing. And it's in Venus, which is the planet of love, beauty, attraction. So it's a very psychic energy field. It's going to change in Venus on the 18th. So we've got the whole week left with Scorpio and Venus. We have to be a little careful with that. I've said this before, where Venus, the planet of attraction, could attract us to things that we wouldn't normally be attracted to, spend maybe money we don't have. You've got to be careful of that during this difficult time of, they say it's, slowdown in the economy. I think we're looking completely at recession and hopefully we'll dodge depression. What would you do if you knew, kind of thing. So do some investigating and some research as to where it would be best to situate yourself during that type of an event, which can last from 3 months to 10 years if it's a depression. If it's a recession, they figure 3 months to 3 years. So we'll see where that takes us. I don't trust what they say. Look at what you see. So just don't overspend. This would absolutely not be the time for a big investment. So be careful not to incur any more debt than you need to, because interest rates. When I was younger, buying homes, it was common for them to be around 11 to 14%. And I believe that's where they're trying to head. And I think in the end of 79 to the early 81, for some people it went up to 23 and 24%. That wasn't your Visa card, that was your mortgage. So just, watch how much debt you can get rid of if you can. Don't add any more if you can help it. And with this Venus in Scorpio, we could be attracted to things that just aren't in our best interest. Now we have to look deep here, because it could put us in an energy field where we're trying to self-soothe. Some people may buy things just because buying and having something come to the door feels good. So look at why we're doing what we're doing. What is your pattern? And this blood moon that we're going to talk about will help us find those patterns. I'm going to talk a little deeply more and cover some of the things shortly. And Mars, the planet of our drive and our passion, our energy planet, is in Gemini, but it is going retrograde again. We've had so many retrogrades. So you may have felt a little dumpy this week, a little tired this week, and that may continue for a while. This is not a medical program, but in the form of entertainment, you may consider looking at vitamins or something in the energy way of increasing your energy. You may consider eating foods that increase energy and don't take it away. Sugar takes your energy away. It may pump it up for a few minutes or 20 minutes and then it crash. So just be aware of how your body reacts to food. It's really important to be aware of that. Certain foods, they say, that vibrate to a higher energy level would be your oranges, your reds, your yellows, any of that. So I make sure that I have my sweet potatoes and maybe some pumpkin, some yellow beans, things that vibrate a little higher that may give me energy. Your vitamin B complex, the whole B complex, is water soluble, so you really can't overdose on that, being using common sense, because within 20 minutes to a half an hour, it's feeding fishes. So whatever you need, your body takes, and then it gets rid of whatever you don't need. So you don't want to waste money, but that is your energy vitamin. That's the one that's going to pop you up. And then B12 is the energy vitamin. So if you can and you think it's in your best interest, talk to your doctor first. But you could look at maybe getting a little bit more vitamin B12. I personally take about 1,200 microunits a day of vitamin B12, and at times like this, I double it. And I take vitamin B, the whole complex, and I go up to 100 milligrams. I do use the one that is slow release. They don't call it slow release anymore. There's a name for it, but that's essentially what it is. It just, you don't get a big rush all of a sudden and then fade. It just goes through your body at certain times through the day as it releases. Some of your sensitive tummy people may want to look at taking it with food. So I always make sure that I'll eat something and then take my vitamin B's and then eat something on top, because it's one that can cause stomach upset, just to help with that energy in Mars going backwards. Now, Gemini is one that is intrigued by learning and new events, new hobbies, anything that makes you think. And some of us stay in our patterns. I seem to circle myself back to the same things. I go out and do forays, but I go back to the same things. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm finding myself interested again in things because of the retrograde that I was interested in the very beginning of my time. But fresh, new ways of approaching it, new ways of looking at it, new ways of dealing. It's very exciting. I needed something exciting during this time, and this is exciting. So it gives me something to strive for, something to compete with myself. So if you can look at something like that, don't be afraid to take advantage of it. That wouldn't be a bad thing. Just get yourself happy and excited. Now, I did say it before, and I will say it again. Scorpio can be a darker energy, so be careful. With Scorpio, if you tend or lean towards sadness or heaviness, this can be a little bit more acute. So again, back to that happy, try to really focus on what makes you happy, what makes you feel good, so that you can take advantage of being grateful. What is it that makes me happy and makes me want to get out of bed? What new things, can you retrain your dog? Can you go for walks? What is it that makes you really, really happy that you can take and enjoy right now and lift that mood up a little bit? Now, the beginning of the week, we may find a vulnerability in the neck, our vocal cords, your throat area, the thyroid, if you're vulnerable in your thyroid, the tonsils. That can be an issue with people that are already vulnerable, or if you're not, it could come to the forefront. So take that neck and, massage it, make it happy. Sometimes I'll just rub my neck and the base of my head, because I notice many people will pack their stress in that area, and that moon is in Taurus on Monday, and the blood moon is on the 8th, so we're not far from that, and the blood moon is going to be it's a powerful event. So we're going to talk about that too. Towards the middle of the week, it starts to possibly migrate down from the neck into the shoulders, your arms, your hands, those bronchial tubes. You want to be really on top of that. Your respiratory system, the lungs, all of that could be very vulnerable as we move through the week. So if there's something that you do that takes care of those body parts, don't be afraid to take advantage of that. If you use essential oils, any of your antivirals, Young Living has RC, doTERRA has Breathe Easy, that type of thing. Just, you don't have to get that. Eucalyptus, camphor, Thieves, On Guard, any of those that help with your respiratory system. Pine is very inexpensive and is an antiviral. And so if you accumulate any of that little bacteria or anything that's in those lungs and you're coughing, which nobody wants to have anybody coughing right now, it wouldn't hurt to breathe that in. 3 or 4 breaths, or put it in your diffuser if you happen to have one. But it has to be made for essential oils or you'll kill it. So don't be putting it in your vaporizer or anything. It's not going to work. And always use a carrier oil like olive oil, coconut oil, sesame oil, any of those oils underneath, because some are hot oil, so you want to be careful of not burning yourself. Towards the end of the week, beginning into next week, the stomach could be an issue. So if you have a tender tummy, you want to make sure that you're very careful in the foods that you choose and don't make it unhappy tummy. The lymph glands too will be very sensitive, so this isn't a bad time to put some of those essential oils around the around your lymph glands, which would be under your arms, under your throat area, where the doctor and the dentist check those little glands under your throat latch, and the groin area too. Don't get near any sensitive parts. I don't think you needed me to say that. You'd only do it once anyway. And towards the end of the week, home activities would be something that I would really strongly tell you to take advantage of. Cooking, finishing up that garden, be prepared. The moon will be in Cancer at that time, and with that blood moon, emotional fluctuations and perception will be very, very sensitive. So be on top of that for yourself if you can. It's we want to know who we are so that we can be the best that we can be and not murder people around us. Now, as I said, that blood moon's going to be on the 8th. It's a total lunar eclipse. It's in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. And again, it will be attracted, which is great, but be attracted to healthy things, not unhealthy things, if you can do that. The reason it's called the blood moon is it's red. Doesn't mean people are going to die or bleed all over. It's red. At the position of the moon to Earth, it becomes very red. So it's a very strong cosmic event. It usually signals the ending of a karmic cycle. So we've had the eclipses kind of in packages. They're delivered in packages. So we had one in April, we had one in May, and we just finished one October the 25th. So if you can try to trace back to what commonality is in there, patterns, events, it's trying to teach us something. So if you could kind of look back and see if there's something that keeps coming up, trying to get your attention, this is a great time to try to understand what the cosmic is trying to teach us. What are our lessons, each person individually. You can look at it as a cluster. So if I step back and look at it as humanity, I can definitely see it. We won't start that conversation. For me, that's a half-hour conversation, if not longer. But you can look at it for yourself and see if there's something in your life that keeps coming up, and maybe at this time you could, address it. So it's coming to a head. All of these eclipses, all of the retrogrades that we had are coming to a head, kind of like an abscess or a pimple. But something has to clear before we get to that open door. So there is going to be an open door, and we are going to have some opportunities in this, but we have to clear this first. So it carries the vibration of letting go. So it might be something that a lot of us have to let go. Maybe with all these events of the shootings and the poison politics and poisoning words towards each other, maybe that's what we have to clear and let go, is this anger, this extremism, where is this coming from? Are we angry and venting in the wrong way? Something's really off that we do have to fix globally, humanly, culturally, and individually. Venus, that planet that is ruled by Taurus, we have to look at the issues that are around that, because that's where this blood moon is headed. So those issues can be, because Venus is love, the love for ourselves, the love for others, the attraction to money, maybe the fear of money. Some people are afraid to get rich, or they're so afraid that they keep bringing debt in their life. It's really complicated. The fear of abundance, or the want of abundance. All of that is going to be very, very important to take care of and to look at and to be aware of, so we can do something. Uranus, the planet of awakenings and change has been extremely active in the last little bit, going retrograde, going forward, going retrograde. And right now in this blood moon, it is extremely powerful. So Uranus is the planet of shocking events, epiphanies, awakenings, inspiration because of these awakenings. You know, when you get that light bulb moment and we just go, wow, look at that. Inspired breakthroughs for ourselves, and to free ourselves of boxy thinking that's stuck in a box. So we can think differently with this. So we're coming to the end of an eclipse season, and that's transformation. It's external, it's internal. We have to really look at it. We have to pay attention. We could be feeling raw with all of this, with the Cancer at the end of the week in the moon, all these eclipses, the sensitivity. That's a raw feeling. So we need to surrender. We need to let ourselves be guided. Try, if you can. We need goals. This whole thing has been about looking at patterns and trying to set some goals. But during this particular time, the best thing for ourselves is to float. You know, just think of yourself on water and you're floating and you're just letting the water, the waves, the current take you where you need to go. Not necessarily where you want to go, but where you need to go. And that's extremely important, to just let yourself float into it. Let your guides guide you. Let your source guide you, and be aware and look at the things around you. What are they trying to say? What are they trying to point out? Now, make sure, because this is time of letting go, make sure that you hydrate. I know that sounds so silly, but because of letting go, sometimes our body, you may find yourself eliminating a lot more than you normally do. So that can be a problem depending on where you are. But if you're aware of it, just know how to plan your day. But also don't forget to hydrate, because what we're letting go of, we also have to fill ourselves new with, both physically, water, good food, nourish your body, and spiritually, what are you going to nourish yourself? What are you going to fill yourself up with? So this being the last eclipse of the year, it's supposed to put us where we need to be. And as I said, that's really important. That's why I'm repeating it. Not necessarily where we want to be, but where we need to be. The number 5 came up for us, and the 5 paired with this is the number of possibilities, the need for movement. So it's pairing beautifully with that, the need for change. Possibly some of us will want to travel. It's a search for freedom when you pair it with this, and maybe just a little adventure to have some fun. So we need to be open to new things and new ideas when you add 5 to this, and maybe an inclination for leadership. And you know, with some of the politics that are going on, maybe that wouldn't be a bad thing to get kinder people and more compassionate people that understand, people that have a different attitude. I think we need a whole big change, and we do need it. We're being offered it, and on the other side, it's scary, because change can be civil war. Change can be uprising of the people, and the government falls, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens with that. So it's scary. But if you feel an inclination for leadership during this time, and if calling, and you think you might have something to offer, don't be afraid to offer that, because it is an ambitious kind of energy. So I'm going to leave you with that, my friends. Think about that for this week. Help it to work to your advantage, not your disadvantage. Take advantage of all the new signs that they're going to offer you, the new feelings, that raw. Be prepared to be kind to other people that are going through things themselves, so that you can, be a little less judgmental possibly and more comforting, but don't drain yourself. All right. I want to thank Charlie O'Brien from the bottom of my heart, because without him, none of this would be possible. He has got us on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, SoundCloud, YouTube. He also puts the archived podcasts on my website, www.terriworld.com. So if you have any digital needs or photographic needs, he's an amazing photographer. Don't be afraid to look up Charlie O'Brien. And if you need to, you can give me a shout, and I can show you how to get in touch with him. He's a marvel. Good soul, really good soul. I thank him from the bottom of my heart for all the work he's done. And if you need a reading for yourself or your dog trained, you can email me at Terri, Terri.Coutts, Coutts @gmail.com, or you can text or call 519-726-6699. Thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy these cosmic events and make the best out of it. All right. Bye for now. Talk to you next week.
You've been listening to Insights with Terri Coutts, and visit her website, terriworld.com, TERRI world.com. And we'll catch you next time